Hello. So we will just give a couple of minutes for people to join, although it's 6:30 sharp here in Barcelona, but let's give a couple of minutes so we have people joining and then we can start our session.
In the meantime, feel free to let us know in the comments where you're joining from, and what are you excited about hearing in the session?
So welcome everybody. As Maya said, please drop messages and any comment and question in the comment section. Since you won't be able to join with the video, but we are reading you live. So any comment, any idea, any thoughts you want to add, just please write it down in the comment section. We're gonna wait for one more minute and then we start. Today's session is called Everyday Life Upgraded with AI, and it's actually the kickoff of our mom series. So we're very excited to have you, and we hope we're gonna learn and discuss many topics related to AI and how these tools and frameworks can actually empower moms all over the world and make our life easier. That's the bottom line. Just a few seconds and then we start, and I will also introduce our guest speakers for tonight's session. So thank you. I'm already reading your comments. So for the people who are joining our live now, please let us know where are you joining from, and why are you interested in this, and what's your role, what's your job, how did you find out about us? And then we start. Welcome to everyone. So thank you everyone for joining our live session. Maybe some of you joining today don't actually know SheAI, so I'll just spend just a few words about us. At SheAI, we are on a mission to bridge the gender gap by providing accessible AI education to women and girls worldwide. Firstly, we provide online courses, free downloadable resources, online and offline events, boot camps, and build-a-thons and expert discussions, such as this one. Secondly, we're also building an ecosystem of women ready to learn and lead with AI through our strong community, which is a safe space, ideal for networking, support, and growth. So you might wonder, how did we end up creating this specific series of events about moms using AI? Well, we just did a simple reality check. First of all, just have a look at the statistics, which speak clearly. Mothers carry about 70% of household mental load tasks, such as, you know perfectly, planning meals and shopping, scheduling doctor visits and school activities, even remembering birthdays and events, as well as managing family routines and emotional needs. Women generally take the primary responsibility for organizing childcare and family logistics, even when both parents are working. And in recent researches, many data sets still show that women do approximately over 3 hours per day of household tasks. All this mental burden leads to higher stress and burnout, less free time. It's calculated that we have roughly 30% of free time less than men, and negative effects on career progression and income. But even if we put stats aside, come on, we all know that the struggle is real. So, with the advent of AI, we are used to hearing and considering all the main downside of AI affecting women, which include underrepresentation in AI development, because women now make up only about 22% of AI professional globally. This leads to biased algorithms and reinforcement of gender stereotypes, unfortunately. Also, AI-driven automation could affect women's employment more heavily in certain sectors which are typically have a higher female employment rate, such as administrative work, customer service, and retail. And AI tools finally can also be used to generate harmful content towards us, such as deep fakes, pornography, non-consensual fake images or videos. So we are overwhelmed with these negative vision and aspects of AI affecting our everyday life. But we want to see the bright side after all. So what if finally AI is here also to solve some of our problems and work together with us as an ally in also a non-professional area, in a personal area and everyday life. That's exactly what we're going to discuss in our mom series. And in this first event, in this first session of our series today, we'll cover everyday life. From meal planning, chore charts that work, organizing your thoughts, planning days out on a budget, basically how to use AI as your personal thinking partner when your brain is already full. For example, I wouldn't know how to keep my conversation going without text to speech or voice to text applications, right? I find them very interesting when I want to read an article but don't have time because I'm always busy. So I turn it into a podcast format and listen to it while doing the chores. On the other end, also, you can see me walking around the city in the streets, talking to my phone, which actually will take care of writing down all my thoughts and type them in a message or an email. In our team, for example, we do use a lot Whisper Flow, which is a voice-to-text AI, which helps you write a message, a list, an email, or a prompt, simply by dictating. So in that way, you free up time for more meaningful and more critical activities. But these are just first examples. There are so many applications of AI in our day-to-day life. And we're going to discover them all today. So moms are finally starting to use AI to lighten the invisible mental load of family life. And that's what we're going to go through, the use of AI for many tasks that we typically take care of. Of course, we always have to keep in mind some guardrails. I just wanted to put this alert at the beginning of the session because it's very crucial to keep them in mind for safety and privacy of your family. So set some healthy boundaries when using AI in your family and personal life in terms of privacy. Never ask for medical advice, especially when the disease or the issue affects your kids, and always take the inputs as a draft because you have to understand that it might be biased. I'm joined here today by two fabulous guest speakers who will guide us through innovative ways to see AI as a co-parenting key asset. First of all, I'm now introducing to you Rukaya. Rukaya Akbari is the founder of Ami.ai. Ami means mother, and through Ami.ai, Rukaya is on a mission to bring all mothers into the AI conversation through practical, relatable AI literacy workshops, courses, events, and a free bi-weekly newsletter. With a background in chemical engineering from the University of Houston and a decade of experience in solution consulting and corporate strategy at enterprise AI software companies such as SAS, Dakaitu, and Rippling, Rukaya brings both deep technical expertise and a passion for making AI accessible. Based in San Francisco and Houston, she guides women and mothers worldwide through the AI age with clarity and confidence, all while raising 3 children. So thank you very much, Rukaya, for joining us today. I will stop sharing my screen so you can go through the presentation.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Sarah, for the lovely introduction. Just want to check that y'all can see my screen. Oh, I'm sharing my screen. Let's see. Let me try that again. All right, is my screen being shared?
Let me check just a second. Yes, I'm maximizing
There we
it so for everybody
go.
to see. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much. As Sarah said, I am a big proponent of bringing mothers into the AI conversation, so I'll just quickly reintroduce myself, although you covered all the bases there.
Thank you.
I think the key thing to know about me and why I'm so passionate about empowering mothers with AI literacy is because I have 3 children who are aged 5 and under. They will never know a world where computers can't think, create, write in ways similar to humans. And so it's incumbent upon us as mothers who are ushering this new generation to ensure that they're inheriting a healthy future with AI. And a big way that we can do this is by understanding the risks and benefits of this technology so that we know how to navigate this future in a healthy way. I really strongly believe that if we get all moms into the AI conversation, we can have a healthy future with AI. And I'm bringing, like Sarah said, some experience as an AI software consultant, um, and really breaking down complex AI concepts into practical, relatable, accessible tidbits. I think once we make AI relatable, it makes it that much more easy to digest. And so that's why I'm really excited about this series, because we're really bringing AI to our day-to-day challenges. And one of my biggest questions that people ask me as part of UMMI AI, which is my organization that focuses on AI literacy for mothers, is why moms? And again, Sarah mentioned this, but just to put some more numbers and data to this, the Fair Play Institute and the University of Southern California held a study, and they asked mothers, who's responsible for the tasks in your household, and mothers reported greater responsibilities than their partner for the cognitive labor of 29 out of 30 tasks and the physical household labor for 28 out of 30 tasks. So if we look at any common household task like booking appointments, taking out the trash, tidying up, all of those tasks have a cognitive component and they have a physical component. And for almost all of the tasks, we are doing both, which seems a little bit unfair. Now, scientists are working on robots. I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll get some more help on the physical aspect. But today, with large language models and generative AI, we actually have we can delegate a lot of the cognitive aspect of these tasks to AI. And the reason is because these particular tasks, they're quite tedious, they're quite draining, they take up our precious mental energy. And so if we relegate it to machines, what we're doing is we're opening up space for us to use our brains in things that matter a little bit more to us. Not that these things don't matter, but we can work, some things that we can do. It's kind of that cognitive burden. It really feels like to me, in my brain, it really feels like this big scribble of stuff that I have to get done, of all the planning that I have to do. I have to tell this person this, I have to remind this person this. It really feels like this big scribble. But if I use AI to clarify that scribble, to turn that scribble into like more of a clear circle, then not only am I getting things off my plate, but I'm also making my brain more clear and amplifying my ability to use my brain power for other things. And we can talk about what some of those other things are kind of toward the end of this section. But how do we take, what I want to focus on in these next few slides is kind of that middle sparkle. How can we take that scribble of our mental load and use AI to turn it into a clear bubble of our brain? So there's three, what I like to call no fun zones, where, if you took all those 30 tasks, they can mostly be kind of sorted into these three no fun zones. One of which is task and project management. So, here's all the things that I have to do. Okay, we have a big vacation coming up. I have to plan all the things for that. Then there's calendar management. I don't know about you all, but as mom, chief, I feel like I'm chief reminder officer. I'm chief event management officer of my household. So we're all the like party invites, all the social gatherings, all the school curriculums, all of the extracurriculars, they're all funneled through the moms typically to get on the calendar to make sure everybody's showing up to things on time. And then finally, planning, right? Something as small as planning meals for the day to something as gargantuan as planning out, our big family vacation this summer. All of that, we typically tend to be the people that spearhead those efforts. And so there's so much mental load that bog us down. And I want to tackle each of these no fun zones one by one. So the first no fun zone is task and project management. And for each of these no fun zones, I want to share a few key ways that I use AI. I use these in these ways very repetitively, so that's why I'm calling them out. There's dozens of ways that you can use AI for task and project management. And then I'm going to share some of the tools that I like to use, and then I'm going to share an example of how I use it. So the number one way that I love to use AI for task and project management actually uses some of the tools that Sarah shared to do. The first big component is voice to text. So a big thing I like to call out when we're talking about generative AI is it's not all about AI chatbots. AI chatbots are, of course, a big tool in our toolbox, but there's also purpose-built AI tools, and there's AI features and tools that we need to leverage to help us manage our mental load. And voice to text is a great way to manage our mental load because we speak a lot more efficiently than we type or we write. So for context, I type at about 60 words per minute and I speak at 180 words per minute, which is reminding me that I probably need to speak a little bit more slowly and slow down right now. But that's almost like a 3 times more efficient way of getting your ideas out, right? So the first step is getting your ideas out. We call that brain dumping, at least here in the US. And I like to use voice to text tools. Whisperflow is a great one. I'll share some other ones that I like to use in a second here. And even in chatbots, there's a little microphone icon, so you can just click that and brain dump. But just brain dump all the things that are in your brain out just by speaking it out, and then use an AI chatbot to clean that up into a nice, orderly to-do list. It doesn't have to be a perfect prompt that you use. Keep it very natural. Think of AI like your, infinitely patient assistant. So I'll show you an example of how I say this, but it could be like I'm just on a walk, taking my daughter in her stroller on a walk, and I might take out my phone, brained up, okay, I need to buy this, and this from the grocery. I need to make sure that I find this complete this project, do that. And then I might throw that into ChatGPT and say, make this into a prioritized to-do list for the rest of my day. And tell me if there's some things that realistically I can't accomplish, and I'll push that to the next day. Just something I might ask a friend to do or something I might ask a helper to do, I can ask AI to do it. The second big way that I like to tackle task and project management is really the project management piece. I find myself really paralyzed sometimes when I feel like I'm having analysis paralysis on really big projects that I have to undertake. And this also applies to work, but this applies to life in a big way. Like, for example, if I need to figure out my solids feeding my child solids for the first time. I'm past that now. My daughter's 1.5. But, okay, how do I introduce these solids to her? How can I make sure we're accounting for allergies? What can I introduce to her at what cadence? I can basically brain dump again what I'm thinking about a particular project. What are some of my goals around that project? What are some of my concerns around that project? Some timelines around that project, and have AI either give me, there's two things I like to do here. First, I like to give me the first few steps to initiate this project that are not intimidating. Help me cross that chasm from going from paralyzed to being able to start a project, but also help me map out this project. Help me think through this clearly, help me organize my thoughts. And so project mapping is a really great way. Again, brain dump and get a to-do list, or brain dump and map out bigger projects. And then you can break that down again with AI into specific to-do lists. And so I want to give you an example of what this looks like. So one of my favorite tools I don't see a lot of people talk about, but I've been using it for 3 years now. It's called Audio Pen. It's a lot like tools like Whisperflow, but it's more like a notes app. So now, instead of, if you use Apple Notes, if you use Google Keep or something like that, think of it that way. But instead of typing, you're just talking, and it turns your fuzzy, rambling talking into like a nice, clean note. This is how I like to do all my brain dumps, because AudioPen has a 15-minute timer. Sometimes I am using the little voice to text on ChatGPT or Claude, and I'll just talk a lot, and then it's like does the little, okay, we're processing this, and it just disappears. Or, there's an error and it goes away, and I'm like, no, my brain dump. What I like about AudioPen is I can talk for 15 minutes, and I know it's gonna capture all of that. I'm gonna hit stop, and it will do the little processing and give me nice, clean, orderly text. So first, it takes that first step of making my brain dump cohesive. Then what I'll do is I'll take that brain dump, because there's a very easy copy feature. So I just copy that brain dump and I paste it into a chatbot. You might use ChatGPT, you might use Gemini, you might use Claude. I've been really in my Claude era recently. And so what I will say then to Claude is, help me make a clear. So I have ADHD. So I'll say, make an ADHD proof to-do list for the day using this brain dump. And then I'll paste in my brain dump. And then, as you can see in the third screen here, we have a nice, clean, emoji filled brain dump. Here's what you need to do for your home tasks. Here's quick wins. Here's something that's blocking your work so you can get it done. So it nicely, cleanly gives me my to-do list that was a big jumble in my head. So going from that big scribble to the clean blur, the clean bubble. Another example that I don't necessarily have on the screenshot, but I'd love to share with you is, if you have, like I said, a big project coming up. So let's say I have a big annual goal where I want to run a marathon at the end of the year. Again, share your goal, share all your concerns and your hesitations about it, share some of your, preferences and your parameters around it. I can only train on Mondays and Wednesdays. I'll have to wear, have the little trolley to have my baby in my, when I go for a run, help me account for all of this. So take your big, huge goal, brain dump everything that you want to say about it, and have an AI chatbot make it real for you. I think that's so powerful, and it's a big way to take off your mental load. So what is the toolbox for us to do planning and organization? So we referenced voice to text is a big component of taking your brain dump and making it text. So Whisperflow, AudioPen, and then of course the chatbots microphone features are very good for one-off prompts or brain dumping, smaller brain dumps. For AI chatbots, we've run through the gamut: ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, maybe use Grok. And then I want to call out AI assistants because they're also great for helping you break things down. They're going to be more useful in my next category, but two AI assistants that are actually marketed specifically to mothers and built for parents and caregivers are ohai.ai and M. M is still in kind of pre-production, but it's one to keep an eye out for. It's by AI Empowered Mom. The second big no fun zone is calendar management. The bigger your family gets, the more unwieldy it can be to manage your family events, your personal events, your school events, your work events. The biggest, a big fan favorite I've seen among mom communities is converting school calendars into your to events to put on your Google Calendar. And so if you have a school calendar or maybe like a sports schedule list as a PDF, generative AI is fantastic because it can take text and it's a great converter between, text and then code. And so this is a great use case for taking, a PDF of events and converting it into calendar events. Another one is images. I get all of my birthday party invites for my children, for myself, as images on WhatsApp. And so then I have to go and I have to type it in on my calendar, and it's very tedious. And sometimes I forget to do it. I've missed events because of this. And so converting images to calendar events is a big one. And a third bullet I haven't included on here is reminders. I feel like reminding can also be included in this category, whether it's reminding yourself about things. I need to pick up diapers on the way back home from work today, or I need to remind my daughter that she has to take her flute to school tomorrow, or I need to remind my husband because garbage is the task that they actually do as on that list. I need to remind him to put out the garbage every Tuesday and Thursday. And so we want to, all those reminders can be automated using some of the AI tools that I'm going to share. So the AI toolbox for moms for calendar management. So Ohai AI and M are both AI assistants that you can actually send your PDFs to, or you can send images of events to, and they'll add them to your calendar through a calendar integration. They're also great with the reminders. And then one amazing tool that I love that's actually built by a mom. Actually, all three of these tools are built by moms. It's called Agenda Hero, and it's turning anything, text, images, PDFs into calendar events. So definitely check that one out. So here's a screenshot of Agenda Hero, and you can see it kind of has like a chat interface where you can either upload a PDF, you can upload an image, or you can just write some text. Hey, I have a basketball game at 3 p.m. on Friday. I have a recital on 2 p.m. on Saturday, and we'll just convert those into Google Calendar events or Outlook events that you can just simply add to your calendar. And then Ohai, it is actually like a text-based bot. So you can text it, hey, remind me to pick up diapers tomorrow, and you can add your family members. So you can say, remind my husband every Tuesday and Thursday till the end of time to take out the trash. And it will do that. It will send him a text every Tuesday and Thursday till the end of time. And then finally, planning is a big part of what we have to do as mothers. And my favorite type of tool to use when it comes to planning, because planning is typically sensitive on up-to-date information, right? If we're planning an event, if we're planning an activity, if we're planning a vacation, we need up-to-date information. We need the latest information. And so AI-powered search is really important for that. Typical AI chatbots, now that's changed, but typically AI chatbots were trained on a particular on data that had a stop date, and so it wasn't up to date information that it was trained on. Now you have AI chatbots that have web search capabilities, but my favorite AI for AI powered search is called Perplexity, and so I use these AI search engine to synthesize relevant up to date information from across the web. Synthesis is the important part, because instead of going to Google and having 15 tabs open for museums, restaurants, parks to go in a specific place, what you can instead do is you can go to an AI-powered search engine and say, help me find museums, restaurants, and parks in the San Francisco Bay Area in this time frame. Be mindful of the weather and give me a list and give me options, and it will do that for you. And it's mind blowing. And then the second is going to be AI agents. AI agents are kind of that next step where they are kind of like autonomous computers powered by AI. So think of having AI chatbots, but instead of me saying something and then getting a response, I can give it a task and it will go off with the tools that it has, integrated and at its disposal. It will go do that task and come back to me with the response. So I can use an AI agent to say, hey, plan me a whole vacation with these parameters. Go out, do your thing, give me a draft plan and present that back to me. And I can, then modify or build on top of that. So an AI toolbox for mom includes, so Perplexity is really the key one that I'm going to call out. And there's a very robust free version. And ChatGPT and Claude both have web search capabilities. So you can use those, but I really do recommend trying out Perplexity. And then for an AI agent, Manus is a great AI agent that you can try. And then I will disclaim that I'm still in the process of experimenting with Claude Cowork, but Claude Cowork is also an AI agent where you can give it a task, let it go do its thing, and come back, present you with its final result. So the example I wanted to show with Perplexity, and this is based on a true story because I'm going to be in San Francisco area for spring break with 3 kids under the age of 5 or 6 and under. And what I like to ask AI to do is give us options. I once got feedback from a mom who was like, I feel like it always gives me the wrong thing. And I'm like, you can ask it to give you options and then choose what you want from that. So give me 2 options for local things and farther out things for each day. Be mindful of the weather, and it gives me all of that. To wrap things up here, if you use AI to help take away the tedium of organization and planning that we are disproportionately responsible for as mothers, we are taking away that mental load, right? We're clarifying our mind. And now we can do things like unlock ideas, learn something new, relax and rest. I think that's a big one. We can create. We can do things that we're amazing at and amplify that. And I really hope that with some of these tips that I've shared, you're able to do that. And with that, I'd love to pass it over to Tomar to share some more amazing ways to help you amplify your amazing.
Thank you very much, Luca. Yeah, thank you very much. Very, very interesting. I just have a short, like a very quick question for you. In the meantime, I invite all the attendees to write their questions in the comments so I can read them out loud if they have any questions for Rukaya specifically. But I'm just curious, when did you start using AI in your, personal family life, and how did it come to you? Did it came to your mind to start using AI?
Yeah, so ChatGPT launched in November of 2022, and at the time I was in a job that required me to keep tabs of what was going on in the AI world and see if there was any big developments for the corporate world, like in the context of what's important for corporations. And when ChatGPT launched, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is helping me, write my reports for work and do some analysis. But very quickly, like by the January, February timeline of 2023, I was like, wait, this could drastically help me in I think meal planning was one of the first things that it started helping me with, and bedtime story generation for my little kids. And that was the kind of the gateway drug, for lack of a better word. And that really snowballed into, so it's been, what is it, 2026 now? So it's been 3 years where I've been using and loving these tools. Yeah.
And you have used a little bit of all the tools that you presented, right? You probably start with ChatGPT, which was the most common at that time, and you're now into more a Claude era, no? Like everyone here, I
I've
guess.
been using both for, since Claude has been out, but I think recently I've found, because I do a lot of writing, and I really love the Claude code, like the agent capabilities of Claude. So I've been experimenting more with that, but I'm a fan of most of what's out there.
Great, thanks a lot. So
Yeah.
definitely, we leave the floor to Tomar to present her section and to share her presentation and her screen and to learn more from her as well. More tips. Thanks a lot, Rukaya, again for sharing.
Yes.
And let's listen to Tamar's advice. And she also, Rukaya, you have 3 kids under the
Yes.
age of 6.
Yes.
Wow, that's intense. And I think Tamar also has 3 or 4. So you're pro moms, not just moms. You're pro, level
All
pro.
moms are pros. All moms are pros.
Yes, all of us. There is no hierarchy of suffering, I always say. It's all the same. But no, thank you for this. Thank you for putting this on SheAI. Can you see my screen right now?
And
Yes.
sharing it, you should be able to
Yeah?
see it now. Do
Yeah?
you? Yes.
Yeah, I see it. Okay. So, welcome. Thank you, everyone. Just before we talk about AI, I want to just start with something we all know, and Rukaya definitely, and thank you for all the insight, has actually said it. Being a mom often means carrying the invisible project management of the household, like, your meals, your chores, your appointments, and sometimes it feels like running a business, except no one gives us a manual, a software, or any paid salary. So that's when I also got curious about AI. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Toma. This is actually my AI twin there. A little bit about me. I'm a working mom of 4. I have from 13-year-old to a 1.5-year-old. So I actually know what it is to daily juggle work, family, and mental to-do lists. I'm a founder of an organization called Empress Enterprise, and it's a not-for-profit organization for women and young people and communities. I also freelance for arts and cultural organizations, and I do AI consultancy for not-for-profits, mainly and mission-driven organizations. And I created a framework for them called Safe AI, which is secure, accountable, future-ready, empowered, aligned, and inclusive. And I'm currently writing a book called Start AI Right for Nonprofits, which helps organizations to implement AI responsibly and ethically, and actually more practically as well. So during the day, I'm a busy woman working, but at home, I've been exploring AI, how it can help me with my daily chores and family life. So I must admit something. All right. As a mom, I have the daily struggle of cooking, and to me, it is a struggle. I hate cooking. So, and that's something I have to admit. And it's something like every day after 3 o'clock, the school run, actually already in the car, everybody's like, "What's there to eat? What's there to eat?" So, by the time we come home and I look at the fridge, and I'm just like, I don't even know what to do. So it's a good question. What's there to eat? And yeah, so I've started actually using ChatGPT for that, the fridge stare. So I want to also make it a little bit practical today here for us, being that um, you can either do it now or later on. What I use ChatGPT for is cooking, right? And we even have a recipe we call in the house ChatGPT chicken. We're making if mommy is doing, they're asking what's going on, what are we going to have to eat, and then sometimes it's like, oh, the ChatGPT chicken. And how this happened was like I took a picture of the fridge and my cupboard, and I said to ChatGPT, what can I cook with these ingredients in my fridge and in my cupboard? Give me 3 suggestions. So actually, ChatGPT gave me some suggestions with measurements as well, how to cook it. I actually, even the first time around, I said to ChatGPT, my children like actually Italian food, like noodles and stuff, but they also like African food. So try to do me a little fusion basically. So it came up with a really good recipe using coconut milk, rice, and they really loved it, and chicken. So that was our ChatGPT chicken. So I don't know if you are close to the fridge or anything like that, but basically, the main hack you can use is take a picture, either use the microphone function or write, give me three alternatives. You can also say, like, I have picky eaters, they don't like certain ingredients or they have allergies. And that will be the next stage. You can do that as well with. And I use ChatGPT, but you can use any other large language model for that. All right. Um, so that is my cooked meals. I also use it as a meal planner. So every Sunday, I sit down with the kids, ask them what they want to eat, and then also sometimes I add, like, I'm gonna have a wild card, basically. So I ask ChatGPT to just suggest something, and I think as well through our algorithm, it kind of knows what we would like to cook or eat, basically. So here's the prompt I use. All right. So you can say, suggest the three quick, healthy, kid friendly dinners. I can make it under 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't like to cook for long either. And you can prioritize ingredients. You could also just say, I only have carrot, paprika, and mincemeat. What can I make with this? So, the tools I use, like I said, ChatGPT or Claude, but the other thing as well, I would say, guardrail wise, you know, I don't I use either placeholders or I use fake names for families when I put something into these large language models. I would also say, like, do not double check any nutritional advice it gives you, and also always know you are in the lead. You are the decision maker. So it's not only if it suggests something for you you do not like or you do not want. Don't be afraid to have the conversation and tell it, no, I need this or I need that. I think as well, it's like as well more of a partner you have a conversation with. So that is one way I use ChatGPT. Um, the next one is just wondering if anyone in the chat, you can maybe put a one or a two, has ever used ChatGPT or any of like Midjourney um, to use it for interior design. So at the top right, I have my kitchen. And over the summer, I had a little project where I thought, like, I'm going to change my kitchen floor. And my kids had all these ideas when I went to the website, what color the new flooring should be. And to be honest, like my daughter chose the green one, and I kind of knew it was hideous, but I needed to find a way to show her before like we buy any kitchen floor how it would look. So what I've done actually was actually quite simple. So I took a picture of my kitchen, and then I went to a website where they had different floorings, and then I put both pictures into the chat and said, give me a mock-up of how this kitchen floor would look in my kitchen. So it actually did a really good job proportion wide and gave me actually as well a great idea on how any kind of flooring is going to look, right? So again, here I use ChatGPT. I also use Claude, but ChatGPT is actually my go-to. But you can also be much more elaborate, where you could, for example, if you see a whole kind of like interior kitchen or something on Pinterest, or want to get any ideas how something would look in your room, in your kitchen, in your living room, you could put these two pictures together and definitely maybe use within the prompt, match the scale, plank or tile size and direction. So just to let it know that it needs to stay in proportion and use the space as is. So that's a hack as well I found um, by accident, actually. I just thought, like, it's not only for work I can use this, and let's see if this works out for me. And just as a side note, I bet if all these tech bros were women, we already had help in the kitchen with chores and everything, definitely with AI. So So the next one I'm going to share with you is a vibe coded app I've created. So this is where AI becomes more than just a list generator or an encyclopedia. So I joined the SheAI Buildathon. Before that, I already built little GPTs in ChatGPT, but I did not know how to build an app. And especially, I struggled with the back end, which means like, if you want to collect emails and databases and all that. And so SheAI, they put on a buildathon, which was great. And so I created actually two apps during that time. One was a mom boss app, which I'm going to show you in a minute as well. But the other one was for work, which is Artfully Create, a planning app for artists. So the way it kind of started with the Buildathon itself is, or creating an app, I would say, is like I looked at what problems I had within my life or in my working life or at home. And one of the main problems I have at home is every week there's the same fight. Whose turn is it to wash the dishes? Whose turn is it to do the bathroom? And because I am so busy, you know, the kids are always like, no, it's her turn, it's her turn. And no, it's not my turn. And I actually don't know. I don't remember either with so much on my head. So um, I decided during the Buildathon to create this Mom Boss app where I first researched age appropriate chore lists. So like I said, I have a 18 months old. He's possibly now 20 months, 20-month old. I have a 5-year old. I have an 11-year old and a 13-year old. And so I wanted to also kind of know what kind of chores I could give them, but also with this app, I can give them chores I make up myself. And through the guidance of SheAI with that buildathon, I was able to create an MVP, which is a minimal viable product. And if that's okay, I'm just going to quickly um, browse to this. So, so this is the start of the app. And it is really just I built this one
We
for.
still see the deck. We
Oh,
still
you
see
still
the
see that.
presentation. Yeah. Try to share um, instead of a Chrome tab, just the
Yeah,
entire.
share this tab instead. Do you see that now?
Yes. Yes, we do it now.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sarah. So so this is the front end of the mom's app, and you can sign in as well or get started and sign up. I already signed in. So let me just, and the way this one is built, it's built with Emergent, right? And Emergent is a new app builder, but during the buildathon, I used VO, but Emergent is a new one. I've just discovered as well through SheAI's bootcamp. So basically, you can sign in here. I'm a parent. It's actually not showing the right one. Let me see. Can sign in here as a parent. Share this tab instead. Okay. So you can log in here. All right. If it's not working, I did do some screenshots I can possibly make a little bit bigger. But what you can do basically as a parent, you sign in. Yeah. No, it's messing up right now. So what I will do is share this tab again. So the way it looks basically like you log in and then you have like your dashboard here. And with that dashboard, you can put in the tasks here, the chores for the child. And once you have the chores as well, and the child says on the other side, which you can add the kids here, but on the other side says like they have put their toys away. You can actually then approve it, and the child will get points. So this is point based, and then according to the points, they can actually then get rewards. For example, sorry, for example, um, let me just go back.
That's
For
actually a
example,
great example of gamification, right? So
yeah,
you
so
get
I had
points.
I, I had to make it fun because else my kids are not gonna do it. So you get points for each of the chores, which you can set how many, and then you can also, like for example, they can choose whose movie night, like who's going to decide the movie on movie nights. They can actually also get pocket money, but I set that at about like 250 points or something, quite high. Um, they can, for example, as well, be the ones planning days out or make some decisions or actually extend screen time. So you can set that all as rewards. You then have the chores they have to do. And then if they do it, you can approve it and then they get the points basically. And to be honest, like I had to find what motivates my children.
Hmm.
Easy as that for them
Right.
to actually do that.
And here
So
is a fair way, to gain a reward because it's actually, everything is measurable and it's not, yeah, there's no
and
bias here.
and it avoids this. I did it and I don't remember that they did it or anything like that, or things I might have promised them if they do it or something like that. So it just like for me, this app, I've created this app for myself to just also not have that fighting, not having to think about, okay, did she, because we do it alternate. One day the 13-year-old washes the dishes, the next day the 11-year-old. Since it's 7 days, it's not even. I can't say you do it every Monday, right? So all that quibble is over with this app
Hmm. Right.
basically, but it's just an MVP at the moment, so I am still working on it.
Sure.
So yeah,
Thank
so
you for
that
for
is it.
sharing. Although it's an MVP, it's really great to hear the reason why and all the building and how long did it take for you to build this MVP with all the tools now accessible? Because I imagine that only a few years ago that would be impossible for a busy mom and a busy professional to do that on the side. Uh,
And I have no technical background at
mhm.
all. Like, not at all. So I did it during the buildathon, and that's 3 days with SheAI. So it was a 3-day challenge, and I was able during those 3 days to build actually two apps I
Amazing.
wanted. So one for work and one for personal life. So
Amazing,
yeah,
amazing. It's really empowering when you see like, all these tools that are now accessible, right, to also a non-technical, non-developers,
yeah.
and they make you. How did it make you feel? Like, powerful, empowered, and
It is definitely
peaceful?
empowering. However, I would say, like, even though people are saying it's no, you don't have to have knowledge, there's a certain amount of learning you have to do. And that buildathon actually gave me that knowledge during the 3 days. So, and it was like, Aisha was great. The whole SheAI team was great. Stephanie was great as well, like explaining things. And for me, like I said, I've done it before. Like you can use Lovable or other
Mhm.
places as well, where it's quite easy. But I always also wanted to know how to do the things, the back end stuff, you know. So that has been really valuable within that buildathon. So you really got everything, the whole knowledge about it, and you could ask any question and it will be answered. So it's really empowering, especially as well if you know that you could actually build something you always wanted, which I think as women we would build differently as men because we have different problems, or men don't really recognize the problems we have, so that's why it's not important. Else we would have, I mean, like we already have little robot vacuum cleaners, but we would have definitely more housework
That's not
done.
enough. That's not
Yeah,
fair.
but if the tech bros had all these problems, they would have already found something. So that's my take on that. So yeah, no, but it's empowering and it's fun. To me, it's fun. I love creating stuff.
And do you involve your kids as well while building? I mean, are you showing, at least to the teenagers or to the more grown up? Are you showing what you are building, or is the secret?
To be honest, right, my entrepreneurial daughter, because I've been taking too long with the chores app, she actually tried to build it herself and she wants to bring it to market. Because I'm taking too long, she's saying. And so yes, they are, and they are actually thinking about doing business with their AI skills. So from coloring books, creating coloring books, for example, uh, you know, we have an Etsy store we started as well with, like, graphics and mugs and stuff. So, like, yeah, one of them, she is quite on it, and yeah.
So you have future proof kids, right? they're ready. They're
Yeah,
ready
and
when you.
it's important to me. It's important to me because I think in their future, so that's why I do introduce them to AI. I like they can use it. However, I don't let them just use it. So it's like project based. I'm letting them
Mhm.
use it. So, like, with regards to homework or something, I say use your brain first and
Yeah,
then use AI if you wanted to check
to
something.
polish, yeah, or to check.
So, I'm trying to make them understand that they have more, like they can offer more. They should lead with it, and they know how to use it though, because I think that's their future. And if they don't know how to use it and they're not natives, then you know I think it's gonna be quite bleak for them. They're
Yeah,
gonna
and
be
it's already
behind.
everywhere. They're gonna use it anyway. So it's better that you introduce them
Yeah.
to these tools, because at least they can understand the dangers and the biases.
Mhm.
One question for both of you, Rukali and Tomar. How do you keep this space safe? Since we're talking about family life, kids and underage kids especially. How do you keep it safe? So, Tomar, you were saying when you put your input into ChatGPT, you use fake names. You don't give any, personal information such as, You don't upload medical
Well,
prescriptions or documents, I guess. So,
mm, do you want to say something first, Rukaya?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll echo a lot of what Tomar said. I don't share with the names and specific ages of like my child
Mhm.
or my children. I always like sign off like with my me AI community. I have a little saying which is like mind your pics, mind your files, and stay safe out there. So be
Mm.
mindful of the pictures that you're sharing with AI. Be mindful of the files that you're sharing with AI. Anything I wouldn't share, just like I just imagine like I would if I was in a chat group with like the all of the internet, anything I wouldn't share with that chat group, I'm not going to put in a AI chat bot. you know,
Mm. Mm.
nothing is
Okay.
truly private and protected when it's in the internet. That's just kind of my own personal guardrail that I tell myself.
Mm.
But yeah, I'll pass it to you, Tomar. What about
Yeah.
you?
I mean, use like placeholders, like, name. I use fake names a lot. I would like redirect things. Like if there's something I would want to know or that pertains to my kids, I take out ages, I take out names or anything like that. Um, Even the coloring book my youngest one wanted to do with her face, we described her face. I didn't upload a picture of her. We've just made some descriptions of, the hair type, who like we
mhm,
wanted her to look like. So I'm very, critical of it as well in that sense. And with regards to privacy,
mhm.
unfortunately, I don't even really believe, even though they say they're not going to train it on it or and things like that. I feel like in the end, I don't know what's happening in that black box. So I try to keep things private, obviously as well, medical information and things like that. Thinking about that, sometimes I say generative AI is just a fancy autocomplete. So,
Mhm.
trying to get advice like that from AI, I just not I don't really trust it as such.
Yeah. Let's keep it for more creative, either for gamification of chores, as you said, or for creative task, as you showed, no, for interior design, like help your imagination to see and imagine and actually visualize a room, or a carpet or a floor different, but this is more of a creative, and it doesn't actually touch sensitive topics. It's just a room, and also I think it's very smart the way you did for the coloring book for your daughter. So instead of uploading a picture, describing her, right? So describing her features, it's definitely a way to avoid giving much information about her. And Tomari, she's creating with her daughter a coloring book, and Rukaya also said you were using AI to get some bedtime stories, or
Yeah, to generate bedtime stories. Yeah, and I did something very similar because I would make up these bedtime stories that were inspired by their favorite TV show characters, but then they wanted to see those characters kind of represented as themselves. So, like for My Little Pony themed story, I would say instead of like sharing a picture of my daughter and saying like make a pony that looks like her, I'd be like, a South Asian girl pony or something.
Okay.
Just you can just be descriptive
Yeah.
without sharing too much information.
And I think as well, one thing we need to understand as well, it is data, and AI is feeding off data. And I feel in the future, this is actually precious, and we don't need to just hand it to them like that, because they're going to be making money with it without us benefiting either. So I'm a little bit precious about my data and the data I'm giving AI. And, I make up a lot of data if I need to, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And if I had to ask you, your favorite top three tools that you're using on a day-to-day basis, or or the best, like up to three that you would suggest to our audience to try, which are the easiest, the more user-friendly. Let's start, baby steps.
My top three would be no surprises because I've talked about them a lot today. Is AudioPen. Love, love, love AudioPen for brain dumping. I love Claude as a chatbot, and I love Perplexity. I think these are three that are just in my toolbox that I use every single day.
Yeah. For me, actually, I do use a lot of ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity. But I also, yeah, those are three, isn't it? I'm supposed, but I like to like do image generation as well. So I use Midjourney for that. Midjourney, or even again, Dali. So
Mhm. Okay, great. Thank you. I think it's a nice way to wrap it up. Thanks a lot for the presentation. Some of the attendees are asking if we're going to share the slides. Definitely, we will decide the format, but definitely we can share the thoughts that you are now sharing live with us, with our community. Again, we invite everyone to join our community. Here, there's a QR code that will bring you to the landing page of joining our sisterhood. We have the SheAI Sisterhood. It's a community, which is a community of almost 1,000 women from all over the world. So it's a very, very active international community with leaders and professionals from all over the world, joining from India, Pakistan, and Americas, and Europe. And we're very happy to be able to share our learning journey, because we always say it's a never-ending learning with AI, and it's more fun if we are learning it together and sharing advice, and as we are doing tonight, right? I think most of moms will resonate a lot with what we're saying, and will find very useful tips and suggestions in the tools that you show to us. Before we end the session, I don't know if you want to add any comment, you want to comment briefly on any project you're working on, or if you want to share again your platform or your future endeavors and goals for this year.
Sure. So if you, a big free resource in my community is my free biweekly newsletter where I share one useful tool, one demystified AI topic, and some AI tidbits from the community, where you can sign up just ami.ai, ammi.ai. And I would invite you to join me this month is National AI Literacy Day at the end of March. And I'm hosting a panel. I'm going to be a panelist with some other AI moms. And we're going to talk about AI literacy for families in 2026. So if you subscribe to my newsletter, you'll get the information for that. And I would love to see you all there. And thank you so much, SheAI, for having me. It's been such a pleasure to be part of this series.
Great. Thanks a lot, Rukaya, for being part of it and for taking the time to join our live session. And Tamar, would you like to add anything before we end?
I would just add, as well, as women, I think we need to get involved and get our voices heard in AI as well and have that balance. I'm happy to connect with anyone on LinkedIn, which is Toma-BEH. And hopefully, you follow what I'm doing. And if you have a not for profit, hopefully you'll be interested in my upcoming book, which is going to have a launch soon. I don't know when, but soon.
You will keep us posted, and definitely we will share with our community and on LinkedIn as well. So thanks everyone for joining us tonight. I really hope you get a lot of insights and useful tips and tools to try. And we'd love to hear from you as well. Like if you're interested in such topics as mom using AI, we're gonna have other 3 sessions in the future, one for each month, one in April, one in May, and one in June. So definitely stay tuned. Follow us on our social media, either LinkedIn, Instagram, or just join our sisterhood, our community for free. And you will be posted on any update. Thanks again, Tamara and Rukaya, and have a great night and day for Rukaya, who's based in the US.
Thank you, SheAI. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.